The recent Nintendo Direct has a lot of people concerned about $100 games, and with Grand Theft Auto 6 rumored to cost $100, I think it's time to talk about the possibility of $100 base games in the very near future. It's not out of the realm of possibility after what happened yesterday in the Direct. So let's talk about the Direct and as well as the $100 base games. So the context is this. The recent rumors of Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out later this year has speculated that the game, GTA 6, will cost at base at launch $100. This is significant because games currently cost $70 base, and it would be a $30 increase in base price for games. That's a that's a big boy number, folks. So yeah, that's a lot of money there. All right, I could get a VR chat model for like 20 nowadays. Anyway, let's talk about yesterday's direct, and then we're gonna draw our attention back to the $100 games in a moment. So the direct was yesterday, April 2nd. Nintendo Switch 2 is going to cost at least $500, the console itself. If you buy the bundle with the Mario Kart World game, but the games at base price that are the physical versions are $90, and I am not joking. This is not an April Fool's joke. That is $90 supposedly, and this is without tax. So if you're in California, I believe the tax right now is 10%. So that will be $99 for one game. Now again, that is with the tax, and I'm talking about the concept though is where the sticker price is 99.99 or $100. This is the sticker price at 89.99, $90, but the concept of $100 base games is very close. And remember, this is without the tax, so 89.99, $90. So let's talk about one person in particular, one person trying to play the Nintendo Switch 2. How much does it get started? Because this is going to vary based on what the person wants, right? So the console, we're going to assume that the player in question is a Mario Kart fan and wants to play the new Mario Kart game that's going to be with the bundle. So with that being said, that's going to be $500 because of the Mario Kart bundle. So that's 500 already. Let's say the person in question wants to buy another game. Let's go with a physical game at $90. So that's $590. And let's say the person also wants to buy an accessory. I will tell you one of the accessories is $70. So let's add that. So that's around $660. Oh, and by the way, this person also wants to play online. That's $4 per month. So we are at about 664 US dollars. And then the $4 per month. So multiply that by 12, 12, 24, 36, 48. So that's around 700 US dollars just for one month. Okay, so one person can spend up to 640 US dollars just to get started with the Switch 2. And by the way, there's an asterisk. And the reason for that is because of the tutorial game. So for those of you who are not aware, there are games called tutorial games where it's like your very first step into the new console, like a VR headset. So the VR game, I believe they give you is first steps and something with the hands. So they give you an idea of what to expect with a VR headset. With the VR, that came for free, but with Switch 2 getting their tutorial game, that's going to be a paid game. By the way, that's not going to be free. It's not going to be coming with the system. It's going to be a paid tutorial game if you want to buy it. And we saw in our little thing on your left the digital game is going to be $80. So that's another $80 on top of that if you're going to get the tutorial game, which is a, which is a very bad move because how are you going to learn your new system? Now I get it. Oh, the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 are the same because it's the same concept. But what happens if this new player never got a Switch 1? They never spent $330 for a Nintendo Switch 1 and never got to experience Switch 1 and they jumped to Switch 2 because it's the new one. They have no experience with the Switch 1 at all. So that person has to spend another $80 to buy a game that teaches them how to play a Nintendo Switch 2, which is which is very bad and anti-consumer. Speaking of anti-consumer, why $100 games in the very near future then? This is a very valid question, folks. We're getting close, and Nintendo is the first one to get very close. And if Grand Theft Auto 5, 6, excuse me, launches this year in fall 2025 with the $100 price tag, I'm not gonna be surprised. But let's talk about why. First, we are very close to pricing games at base price of $100 because Nintendo is pricing the physical game at $90. They are not afraid to start a trend as soon as this end of this year. Why does this matter? This $90 physical game? Because remember, EA, Activision, Xbox, and Sony PlayStation are looking at this. They're going to study what Nintendo is doing, pricing their games at $90. Okay? Then they're going to look at their sales kind of with the Nintendo games and stuff, not the console. The console is gonna be doing well, no matter what. It's the games that they're looking at, that $90 game. And then they're going to come out, EA, Activision, Sony and stuff, with games that could cost $100 a base. And let's not forget, this does not include a microtransaction. The good news for Nintendo is at this moment, let's see what happens. The good news for Nintendo right now at this moment is that they do not offer microtransactions. Okay? There's no extra maps, there's no cosmetics, etc. They will include that, but it's not like at the start. Okay? And usually they don't anyway. So they do not include microtransactions, I meant to say. Excuse me. So like extra maps, cosmetics, etc. They will eventually update the game, but it's usually free. It's not like Call of Duty, who offers like um, microtransactions with bundles, skins, and game to win, pay to win bundles too. Okay, so now I want to do the guessing game. If I had to guess when $100 games will start, and I'm talking about the base price at $99.99, I would say 2027 or early 2030s based on current trends. Games at $70 started in 2020 with the PS5. I am not going to be surprised, however, if it starts later this year if that Grand Theft Auto 6 rumor is true. If it's not true, but still Nintendo $90 physical game, that's going to be a trendsetter if Grand Theft Auto 6 does not come out at not 100. But I'm not gonna be surprised. So I'm gonna say 2027 or early 2030s. I'm not gonna be surprised if it starts 2030s now. How has the response been to all of this $100 games, to 90 games that Switch 2 and all that? The games wise, I think everybody's pretty happy. As in the games. Like the Mario Kart looks pretty cool. The DK game that looks pretty nice. I don't think everybody's excited about the games. It's the price and what could happen. Okay, outrage. Many people are talking about the price of games being the base price of 90. The console price at 500 can be justified. Okay, I'm gonna give Nintendo a bit of a pass, and I mean a very small pass. At $500, yes, 500 US dollars, yes, it's expensive. But considering all the new stuff, like the new hardware, all this stuff, yes, it can be justified. But then you add the base price of $90 games. That's when it gets really nuts, and it's not a good. It's anti-consumer. Oh, and speaking of that, remember that $500 is just if you're going to buy the Mario Kart World bundle thing. That's as your first game because it comes with it. Okay, remember the accessories cost money too. And here's a little comparison. Here's a little thing that I found out how to perspective wise. If we buy one person a Nintendo Switch 2 at 640 US dollars plus the accessories plus all this and stuff, you're looking at $700 plus easily. What can you get with $750? How about a graphics card for your PC? No, I'm not kidding. $750 is going to be enough, well, plus tax, of course, duh, for a graphics card, a single graphics card on your PC. And I'm talking about the Asus TUF Gaming GeoForce RTX 5070. The kind of new, I believe there's a new one that's over 1,000, but we're going to stick with this as part of our presentation. So you're looking at one Nintendo Switch 2 player spending over $750 when they could also get a PC graphics card. Seriously, look at this. You can also buy a new Gigabyte GeoForce 5070 gaming one for 900 I mean $819. It's literally a graphics card that you can purchase if you don't buy a Nintendo Switch 2. It's the same price of a Nintendo Switch 2. If you buy all those accessories, of course, with one graphics card for a PC. What would I rather have? Nintendo Switch 2 plus all those accessories, or a graphics card for my PC that I use a lot. I'll take the graphics card. Thank you. I'll literally take the graphics card of 500, Alex. Thank you. Literally. I mean, it's not even. I mean, look at this. You can buy six graphics cards, literally, if you buy the 580 or something like that. Like, come on, it's it's out of control here. Now let's talk about the other thing about this, and it's the side of gaming that a lot of people are looking into now: emulation. Let me just tell you a story. I believe it make fun of people with playing. I believe there was a time. I believe there was a time where gamers were made fun of if they make if you play games with emulation. Okay, there was a time when gamers were attacked just for playing games on emulation. Now, at the time, it makes sense. Okay, because at the time games were not this expensive. Okay, they weren't. Okay, now of course Nintendo being Nintendo just took down a Nintendo Switch emulator. That's another thing. But there was that time when we gamers were laughed at if we use an emulator. Because emulators, of course, you emulate a game, you is essentially playing for free. But nowadays, it becomes the opposite. Games nowadays are costing $100, like we just mentioned, $90, but pretty soon I'm 100. It's getting difficult to buy a game. Very difficult at $90 if this trend is going to happen. Nowadays, emulation is getting studied on. People are starting to speed run on emulators. People are starting to play on emulators. People are starting to finally get into old games like on emulators. Oh yeah, by the way, you still have to pay for the online service. Let's not forget if you want to play the GameCube games on Nintendo Switch 2, they're not gonna give that for free. So that's why emulators started to get more popular nowadays. Because we can play those classic games. It's just that Nintendo doesn't want us to. Because duh, it's Nintendo. Then we have Sony, RPCS3. We have Xbox. They have their own emulator. Nintendo DS, even as old as that thing is, they have an emulator. Look at this video. Emulating games is amazing. You should be doing it. Exactly. Now, does it mean emulators for everybody? No. There are some those who like the real thing, and that makes sense. But you're spending a lot of money for those nowadays. Oh, and there's more. Hold up, we're not done. Because wait, there's more. Oh no, it's not on here because I don't want to make this too big of a document. Because you can actually on a scheduled draw, you can export this as a PDF. I didn't want to make it too big. There's another thing we have not talked about yet. Besides accessories being a lot of money. The game cards. Oh, the game cards. Gotta talk about the game cards before we wrap this up. Because there is a thing that is going on where the game, let me see if I can find it. That would be nice. Um Look at this. Let me find. There's gonna be DRM. Oh, wait. Battery life apparently is also sucking 6.5 hours, which is half of the original of 12 point something hours. Ouch. 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 Now, obviously, they're gonna have future revisions, but my goodness, that's half the time. And then I believe there is a thing here that there's a DRM. Oh, and by the way, you have to pay for upgrades. Paid upgrade. Look at this. You have to buy an upgrade to a game from Nintendo Switch 1. Oh, and that's more money on top of that too, by the way. Look at this guy. Somebody made this somebody did this CPI inflation calculator. $59 in March of 2017. is going to be as the same buying power of $78.51 in February of 2025. And it's $80 game now. What else? We got a lot of things here. Oh, and by the way, compatibility issues are going to happen. Yep. So you're spending what I said, 500 something dollars on Nintendo Switch 2. Oh, and by the way, now that you see this from Wario64, Wario64 says Nintendo Switch 2 compatibility list issues. Nintendo Switch games that start up on Nintendo Switch 2 but include in some in-game compatibility issues. Games that start up with issues on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, obviously, not all games are going to have issues, but look at this. And there's more. There's more games because as you can see there, it cuts off there. There's more. So yeah, compatibility issues as well now. So as if 100 US dollar games or $90 games is not enough, now you're paying for something as well that might have a compatibility issue, a game that might have a compatibility issue. And I think there's more. Oh no, there's more. Because if you guys remember, there is a new thing on the Switch 2. As you guys can see here, we have a game card thing going on here. So game key cards, that is from Night Sky, Night Sky King. Game cards on Nintendo Switch 2 means you can get a physical DRM key in the box that makes you download the game digitally rather than have it natively on the cart. With manufacturing bigger game cards being more expensive, a lot of publishers will have incentive to go this route. So as you can see here with the box on Bravely Default, for example, on the bottom there you have game key card, 11 gigabytes of full game download via internet is required. Does that ring a bell, everybody? Does that ring a bell? It should. Xbox One. Xbox One had this to start with the new generation of console in 2020. And back then, a lot of people were upset. It makes sense. But then they've since retracted this. They since retracted this. So now it looks like this. So you buy a physical game box, and then you buy the game. You're thinking, "Oh, look, cool! I'm gonna play Mario Maker 3, if that ever becomes a thing." By the way, I'm gonna just plop the game into my Nintendo Switch 2. Oh wait, I need to download a 114. No, I'm just putting this number out there. 25 gigabyte upload. I mean download of a game. Wait, did I just buy a physical game or did I buy a digital game? I bought a physical game. I have the card, but I don't have a game because I have to download it. So what Nintendo Switch 2 is doing, not only do you have to pay $90 for a game physically, then you have to buy all that stuff, and then now they're gonna do the whole concept of DRM. Oh, the Nintendo Switch 2 messed this one up. Other than $90 games. So yeah, So that's why everybody's upset too. Now, obviously, we'll see where this goes, but $100 games in the future? Oh boy. I am gonna be putting an 80% chance that this happens 2027 to 2030. I'm 100% chance it's gonna start 2030s. No, no, I believe it's not a question anymore. 2020. This year I'm gonna say no, but remember, Grand Theft Auto 6 has that idea, so we'll see what happens with that. I am not gonna be surprised if I'm gonna be surprised if Nintendo even um drops the idea of DRM, because Xbox did eventually retract that idea, but this is Nintendo we're talking about, and then you have to consider, oh wait, there's more. They're not gonna even drop the price. What do I mean by this? The regular Nintendo Switch is $230, and that has been $230. I got my Nintendo Switch 1 very late to the party at 350, and I'm very happy with it. Okay? Just for perspective. 350 for Nintendo Switch 1 that I can still play Mario Maker on, and I'm very happy with it. I don't need no upgrade of 500. Even though they don't change the price, they should. They haven't even dropped the price of the original Mario Martin Nintendo Switch. Okay? It usually doesn't drop. And even if they do drop the price, how much are they gonna drop the price by? $10. $10 at most. So yeah, $100 games, guys. $100 games, guys. Not out of the realm of possibility in the very near future. I think if Grand Theft Auto 6 drops in at $100 this year, yeah, 2027 to 2030 is my best guess. I'm gonna tell you, 2030s is gonna be a wild nut, wild generation, and a wild decade of gaming. If what I'm saying, like if what I'm predicting is true, of $100 games in the very near future, I'm not gonna be surprised. That's the talk for today. If you guys enjoyed that, or if you want to comment on it, let me know. And if your question, just keep in mind, I'm basing this off opinion and what I'm seeing in the market rather than like tables and data. Okay? So keep that in mind. I just read what I see and look into it a little bit. Okay? That is more of a prediction video than anything. Alright? So let me know what you guys think. $100 games in the very near future? Let me know. Enjoy. We'll see you guys tonight for VR Chat World Development Lesson.